All right, this segment again brought to you by our sponsors, which include Crow Real Estate and Auction, Rivals Tap House and Grill, Nelson House Funeral Home, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the ALS Association of Michigan, and Z92.5 The Castle.
All right, this is a loaded question. It's a two-parter. One, what a weekend in NFL football. I mean, do we all come into agreement here that, one, it was the best weekend of NFL football we've ever seen? I mean, 4 buzzer beater field goals / touchdowns. On top of that, we had probably the best playoff game I've ever seen outside of the 28-3 Atlanta Falcons versus New England Patriots Super Bowl. I mean, do we agree it's the best weekend and best game we've ever seen?
It has to be up there. I mean, maybe a little prisoner of the moment to say like best ever, because there probably were some other great weekends, but it's hard to argue because, like you said, every game came down to the last play. Even the Rams-Bucks game was kind of looking like the Rams were going to pull a little bit of a blowout, but then, Tom Brady happened and he made a comeback, and then Matt Stafford happened and won that game. But no, every single game was amazing. And the big thing too was, I'm sure you guys saw, or I don't know if you saw, but it's crazy. As much as we love college football and we talk about college football a lot on this podcast, the ratings, the NFL games, I'm pretty sure it was the last, the Bills-Chiefs game, rated 2 times as high as the national championship game.
Wow.
The national championship game, which should be the peak of college football, the NFL game rated 2 times as high as that. So that tells you everything you need to know.
No doubt. And I think it's hard to argue the fact that this was the greatest weekend of NFL football. I mean, I can't even imagine anything could top it. You could probably have some debates on the greatest game, but the greatest weekend, I mean, how do you beat 4 games coming down to the final play of the game? The last game we had a chance to watch was that overtime thriller that could be perhaps the greatest game of all time.
Yeah.
And do you think also, Matt, to your point about college football, is it just the NFL is so dominant, or it's the stupidity of playing the national championship game on a Monday night?
Probably all that, and might be a little SEC fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Alabama, Georgia again. Oh, cool. Whereas instead, you got to see Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, a crazy matchup. Matthew Stafford finally getting a chance to, advance in the playoffs, and all the other matchups. So I bet that's part of it too. Yeah, the game being on Monday night for the national title game, just we've said it doesn't make sense, but it was an amazing weekend of football, that's for sure.
The way I look at it is, I don't know. I honestly, statistically, how can you argue that it wasn't the best weekend? One, with all the last second wins, and then 2, the game. Literally, I don't know if you could draw up a more dramatic finish to a game. I mean, you think about everything that happened in those last 2 minutes. You have Josh Allen 4th and 13 throwing a rocket for the touchdown, and then my favorite sequence of the entire thing, it was like producer or director porn. Matt will know what I mean when I say that. Where they show, as soon as that happened, they cut to Josh Allen on the sideline, and he's losing his mind, screaming, he's just so amped. And then they cut right from there. They cut to Patrick Mahomes on the other sideline, and he's just stoic, getting ready to go out for this 2-minute drill. So they go down and score. Then from there, 1 minute left, Josh Allen scores again, and then 13 seconds left. Everyone's making the joke 13 seconds is too much for Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it just the way everything played out in that game, it literally maximized 2 minutes, 25 points in 2 minutes. I mean, just that in itself is just nuts. Where do you guys stand on the OT rules? I'm of the belief I don't think it's a bad rule. Listen, everyone's saying, "Oh, Josh Allen didn't get a chance. It's not fair." Football is a team sport. This isn't freaking bowling. He doesn't need a chance. Get one stop. If anything, if I'm a Bills fan, they're probably all complaining about this stupid overtime rule. Look in the mirror. I mean, you have the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL, and they were literally helpless against Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes is damn good, don't get me wrong, but people literally act like he's Superman. No, literally all you need to do is maybe don't give Tyreek Hill 30 yards of cushion when they just have to do 20-yard plays on the first play with the 13 seconds remaining. Tyreek Hill catches it, runs for 25 yards right off the rip. And then Travis Kelce, he's literally calling out before the play, right before the snap, to Travis Kelce to basically he said Kelce, do it or something like that. And so I think the whole defense was alerted who this ball was going to, and it just didn't matter. I mean, the Bills defense is the real loser. in that game. And I do feel bad for Josh Allen, but guess what? I mean, it's a team sport, man. And unfortunately, your defense was just that bad where they literally had zero shot at stopping Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Zero shot. And one other thing I got to tag on, Ted, for some reason, it's bad that this was the very first thought I had when this happened. Tyreek Hill, the touchdown he scored with a minute left. The first thought I had was, one, your reaction, and two, what would this guy have done if we just dropped him in the 1960s? I mean, would he have ever been tackled?
I mean, he's a road runner. I mean, I've never seen anybody run like him, man. He's incredible.
That touchdown that he scored, like, right towards the end of regulation. I don't know if I've ever seen someone run that fast in my life. He caught the ball. There were like 9 Bills defenders around him, and he just like took off.
He was waving at him.
Yeah,
the peace sign.
Side story on that. So like the Bills score, and my dog during this whole time is like just staring at me, like, hey, I gotta piss. You take me outside.
Yeah,
so I can't. I'm like, I can't leave this game. Josh Allen throws a touchdown, so I'm like, cool. I got like 3 minutes here to take my dog out. I go take him out, and I come back, and Tyreek Hill's racing down the sidelines. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah,
what is happening right now? It was so insane. But no, to your point, Jared, I agree with you. Would it be cool to just make the overtime just like a straight up 8-minute quarter, 10-minute quarter, play it out? Yeah, but it's a team game. And the Bills had the number 1 defense coming into that game. So, yeah, Josh Allen didn't get to, have a chance in the overtime, but the Bills defense could have got a stop or could have at least held the Chiefs to a field goal.
Yeah.
And then the Bills would have got a chance. So, yeah, it would have been cool to see Josh Allen get a chance, but the Bills didn't stop the Chiefs. So,
it's the rules that they're playing by. They improved it to what it used to be, where you could just win it on a coin toss and a field goal.
Yeah,
I give the NFL credit for at least changing it to that. But now that we've seen it, do you guys truly believe you would stay where it's at, or don't you think they ought to take another look at it just in the playoffs? Maybe not in regular season.
Yeah, right.
But in the playoffs, where both teams at least get their hands on the ball once. I don't want to see the college format at all. I think like maybe you tweeted it, Matt. Put 10 minutes on the clock and play it out. And if it's still tied after that, then maybe go to something gimmick of some sort. But I think you got to let both offenses touch the ball if you're in the playoffs and fighting for a Super Bowl berth.
Yeah, it's not a perfect system, but by any means. But we've seen it work both ways. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs against the Patriots, basically the same exact game played out where they didn't get a chance. It kind of goes both ways. I do think that that's a good idea, like just 10 minutes. But you're basically saying that we're going to have 2 different playoff or overtime rules, one for regular season, one for playoffs. It's just like, how many different rules can we have? Just play the game. And if you can't prove that you're the better team in 60 minutes plus whatever extra overtime you get, whether it's a perfect system or not, then maybe you just weren't the better team.
Well, let me jump on.
I didn't feel like the better team. I felt like the better team won. I thought the Chiefs were the better team.
Yeah, but let me just jump on with the masses. Don't you think? Wouldn't you have liked to see Josh Allen have a chance at the ball? And wouldn't that be better? Wouldn't you find that to be better than just ending it on a coin toss and a touchdown? I don't know. Yeah. I would have loved to see it.
It would have been cool, especially with how both those offenses were rolling. It would have been fun to see Josh Allen get back out there and run around and go crazy. But I think, to me, and to Jared too, I think the biggest point is the Bills' defense could have got a stop. And defense is a part of the game too. And it's not just a stop. Could have just held them to a field goal, and that would have given, Josh Allen a chance. But either way, it was an amazing game. And I don't know how you guys felt, because the Rams game was before that Bills-Chiefs game. I was a little I'm curious how you guys felt seeing Matt Stafford win that game. I felt like it was the Lions. I felt like it was the Lions winning a playoff game, honestly. I don't know if you guys saw the video on social media that went viral. Some Lions fan going absolutely berserk, and his girlfriend or whatever was filming him. I wasn't going that crazy. I do like Matthew Stafford, but I wasn't going that crazy. But it did feel like it was a Lions game, and I was watching them win, to the point where I was like, when the Bills Chiefs game came on, I was like, cool, I'm just going to sit back and watch this because Stafford already won, and that Bills Chiefs game ended up being an all-timer. But the way that Stafford won that game was perfect. I saw a couple other analysts on ESPN say it, that it would have been cool for them to blow out the Bucs and then win by 3 scores. But like for Tom Brady to come back and then for Stafford to win it at the end of the game like that made it even more like validated Stafford's career. He didn't just like hand the ball off. It wasn't some crazy 60-yard field goal that won it. Stafford made the throws that we've been seeing forever as Lions fans, and he's on to the NFC Championship game. It's awesome.
Yeah, with no timeouts too.
Yeah.
The way I viewed that game was basically it was a win-win. I love Brady, love Stafford. So whoever was going to win that game, I was fine with. And what a game that was. I mean, it's getting swept under the rug. That game was incredible. It was that was like if you guys, I know you guys have watched some of the Man in the Arena episodes. That was like watching a real life Man in the Arena episode because you see he talks about it like every time they're down in a big game, they'll show the sideline shots of Brady and he's talking to the guys, and it's no wonder how they always come back because I'm watching it on the couch and I'm inspired. You know, I'm thinking that I can rally the troops and come down from 20 points down. It's crazy how he always does that. But no, if you and this was the very popular thing on social media right after was the comparison between Stafford when he was on the Lions doing the 2-minute drill when they had a big completion. I don't remember what game it was. I think it was his rookie season actually.
The Cowboys.
And he was basically yelling to the lineman to get up to the line. It was deja vu. And if you didn't connect the dots when that was happening in real time during the Rams game, then you're just not a real Lions fan because it was shot for shot, like exactly what happened. And it was cool. And I'm glad to see him finally break through. Like you said, the way he did it, it was Stafford won the game for them. And it wasn't like he was the one that lost the game for them in the first place. I mean, running backs are fumbling left and right. Balls are getting snapped over his head. Like he was playing a great game, you know, the whole way. And it just was nice to see him finally pull through. And now it's all just kind of a cherry on top. I mean, how sad is it, though, that the second he leaves the Lions, he gets 2 playoff wins in 1 year? I mean, that's got to be in the back of your head somewhere, right?
More than the Lions have since 57, right?
57, right.
That's
I mean, it validates what we have been saying all through his career. I mean, he was a great quarterback that had played for a sorry organization, you know? I mean, it just the facts are the facts, and it just cracks me up. Some of these so-called experts that are in the media world that are still saying Matt Stafford doesn't deserve the accolades he's getting right now with 2 playoff wins this year on a whole different team with a whole different organization. Man, they need to get a clue and eat crow once in a while and admit when they're wrong. I mean, come on. What more do you got to see?
Yeah, just like you admitting you were wrong in Dan Campbell, right?
That's right.
You can do that.
Bite some kneecaps, Dan. Let's go.
Right. I mean, it's not saying that all of a sudden Matt Stafford is the GOAT. He's better than Tom Brady. It's just saying, hey, this is what we've been saying all along. That, there were a few years, 2 or 3 years, that the Lions had pretty good teams with Stafford. And, you know, he couldn't win a playoff game in Detroit. But it's like, this is what you see when he has a legitimate head coach in Sean McVay, talent around him, OBJ, Cooper Kupp, you know, Sony Michel. I mean, the Rams are loaded. And so this is what you see. They're going to the NFC Championship game. So, it's pretty cool. I am curious because he's lost twice to the 49ers during the regular season.
Yep.
They're playing the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. So it's like, can the Niners beat them 3 times in a row? You know, that rarely happens. Garoppolo's playing pretty well. The Niners defense is for real. But the guy that we were talking about last week, Joe Burrow. Do we think Joe Burrow's going to beat Pat Mahomes or what?
Wow.
I don't think he will. I mean, what a miraculous gutsy performance that really was.
How many times did he get sacked? He got sacked like 12 times.
God, he was on his back. I don't really pull this card much, but as a former quarterback, like it does rattle you when you get sacked, especially when you are getting punished. You're at least my eyes. I'm obviously not Joe Burrow. My eyes immediately would drop like right to the line of scrimmage if I got sacked a few times, like for the rest of the game. He's not like that at all. It's crazy how, you know, Ted, I think it was you that tweeted something like, man, it just shows how far away the Lions are from like legitimately contending for a Super Bowl when you see how hard it is. But then again, it's like, man, if we just drafted Joe Burrow, we're 2 years out. Yeah. So, I mean, they don't grow on trees, but what more can you say about that guy? I mean, he's so cool. Like, this is the definition of, like, a cool person who everybody is rooting for, who the guys love, the girls love him just even more. Like just kind of the perfect football player, perfect quarterback. I'm so glad that he's been healthy this whole year, and we really got to see what he can do. And let's just hope that he stays healthy, knock on wood, for the rest of his career, because he's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he truly, and he has the same first name. He truly reminds me of Joe Montana. I mean, no question about it. And he should probably.
I thought you were going to say Joe Namath.
But yeah, that's
no,
where I was.
I
That's
won't
where
go
I
back.
going with that
I
too.
won't go back that far. Namath only won one Super Bowl, but he was pretty special in his time too. But really, he's just really cool, calm, and collected under pressure. Nothing bothers him. And like he's got the whole package. I mean, he's gonna be a superstar for the next 10 years. I think I said that the last podcast we did.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Aaron Rodgers? I mean,
Yeah.
where do you guys stand on him? I think it's a little bit unfair, all the backlash he's getting. I mean, all because of. I don't know about where you guys stand on this. We can't 100% separate, and it's not even necessarily politics. I mean, it's just the fact that he lied about being vaccinated. But I just have always been kind of like, let's keep the politics separated from the sports. Like, just let me watch my sports, and the MVP voting shouldn't take into effect like what your vaccination status is. And I think he's been a little bit overboard with claiming how much people have like quote unquote silenced him and all that sort of thing. But in terms of what happened actually on the field, it's 100% on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, what the hell was that? 10 points at home. He's got all the toys. He's got Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. He's got all the playmakers he needs. Yet in an MVP season at home in Green Bay, playoff football, he puts up 10 points. And yeah, the special teams weren't good, this or that. You have a million excuses. Man, flat out, if you score 14 points, you win the game. If you score 2 touchdowns, you win the game. 100% has to come down to Aaron Rodgers. Like, what is the deal with this guy? Is it just the playoffs, like, rattle him? Or is it just simple to say that he just had a bad game?
I mean, the track record kind of shows, and I'm not necessarily an Aaron Rodgers fan, but I like watching the guy play because he's incredible to watch play.
Yeah.
But he does crumble a lot in the playoffs, and it's kind of crazy because of how good he is in the regular season.
Sense.
To see him go to the playoffs. Yeah, the weather, I saw, the weather was bad, but I don't know. He's had great games in bad weather too, so I don't really put much into that. I think he just had a bad game. And,
he didn't have that great a game for sure, but come on, you can't shortchange the special teams factor in that particular game. I mean, it was a direct factor for them losing.
Because they couldn't score more than 10 points. They couldn't put points on the board. If they had just put one more score on the board, that punt doesn't even matter.
That's fair too, but I mean, give some credit to the 49ers defense. I mean, I don't know if it's just a matter of Rodgers choking, but he obviously didn't play his best game. He didn't play an MVP performance type of game. I'll say that. It's just
weird going from that game where, the 49ers have a good defense, but the Bills, statistically at least, have the best defense in the NFL, and Patrick Mahomes was literally toying with them.
Right.
So is Patrick Mahomes just that much better than Aaron Rodgers? Or it's just his whole season has been a season from hell, really from the jump street. I think first game they lost by like 35 points.
Right.
Ever since then, this season has just been hell. Yeah, they've had some wins, but with any Aaron Rodgers team, you're going to have wins. And I don't know. If I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, I'm shipping this guy out. I mean, I was shipping him out before the season even started. I'm doubling down now. I mean, he doesn't even get you to the Super Bowl. He just gets you a nice little regular season accolades, and then you're going to lose, plus all the drama he brings to the franchise. Yeah. Like, just get him out. Trade him for whatever you can get him for.
Yeah, I wonder if it's almost like the Stafford with the Lions situation. Like, both sides just need to move on. Rodgers needs to move on and finish, the last 2 or 3 years of his career somewhere else. Packers need to just move on. But the thing is kind of what you're saying. Right now, all they have is Jordan Love as the guy who would step in. And it's like, would you rather move on to Jordan Love or give Aaron Rodgers another chance, even with all the drama, even with everything? He's winning MVPs. He was MVP last year. He's probably going to win MVP this year. So would you trade all the drama and all the BS to at least have a shot with Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. And it's crazy, like, you were kind of saying it. So for 30 years, the Packers had Brett Favre and then Aaron Rodgers. Arguably two of the best quarterbacks ever. I'm not saying only because I'm a Lions fan and we only have one playoff win in my lifetime. Only 2 Super Bowls with those 2 quarterbacks. Like, do you guys look at that and say it's a failure? You had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and you only won 2 Super Bowls? Or do you look at it as every year you were a contender. With Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, you're at least a contender. In 2 years, you won the Super Bowl. That's the way I look at it. Like, I don't look at it as a failure. Sure, maybe a little disappointing, but you got 2 Super Bowls.
No, you can't look at it as a failure. I mean, I would trade an entire lifetime for 1 Super Bowl. So you win 2 in 30 years. That's a pretty good clip, considering it's like only a handful of franchises really win these. Steelers, Packers have 2. Tom Brady, wherever he's at, he's won a third of them since Brett Favre's been in the league. It's nuts. So no, I think it's a successful franchise. You look back on it with fond memories. A lot of great memories. I mean, he won the freaking division every single year, it felt like. Right. Beat his rivals every single year. So, no, you can't look back on this whole tenure sourly if you're a Packers fan or if you're a fan on the outside looking in. Brett Favre was good, but it wasn't like Brett Favre was, Tom Brady or anything. Like, he was a gunslinger. He was more, like, mythical than it was that he was, like, lighting it up on the field week after week. So, I don't know. I think it was just overall, you win 2 Super Bowls. I don't care if it takes 100 years. I mean, us as Lion fans know that. If it takes 100 years to win 2 Super Bowls, it's still a success.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare, but all 3 of us totally agree. Definitely not a failure. And I got a couple questions. The first question is in regards to Favre and Rodgers. Who do you put above the other one?
Personally, I'd put Rodgers above Favre just because of like.
And I lean to Favre more myself.
Yeah,
I like the way he played.
Yeah, Favre is a legend. In terms of like, if you just boil it down to who is the better football player, I think you go with Rodgers. But if I'm a Packers fan, I bet you majority of Packers fans probably loved Favre a lot more than they did Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Just because he was sort of legendary in how he played. Like, he was a Matt Stafford sort of gunslinger, and it definitely provided some entertaining moments. One thing I got to throw out there before we wrap this up. Sad day. All signs are pointing to Tom Brady's played his last football game. You guys literally watched his career from start to finish. I watched it, last 16 years or so. I mean, my favorite player ever, really, without a doubt. How do you not say that? I mean, he did it perfectly on the field, off the field. Guy just did it by the book, and all signs are leading toward him, going on with his family and the whole family life. Every interview he's given, his podcast, he's basically saying how, this decision is going to weigh heavily, in his family matters and with his wife. And I just really think he's done. And if he is done, how about the fact that Stafford is the one that took him out? I mean, who would have, if I would have told you 5 years ago that Tom Brady's last game, Matt Stafford was going to be the quarterback that knocked him out? I mean, you would have thought that the Lions were poised for a Super Bowl run. So just kind of weird fact when you think about it that way, that Matt Stafford's the one that put him in the grave.
It does feel like he's stepping away. I mean, who knows? Maybe if he takes a vacation for a week or two, that itch will come back. But he's got to be getting to the point, as competitive as he is. Do you really want to put the work in to be an elite quarterback? Do you really want off-season work, film study, everything that goes into being the level of quarterback that he wants to be, with his kids getting older and all that stuff? Like, do you really want to do that? I think that's what it's coming down to. Because even it's not the same level, but Ben Roethlisberger would talk about it all the time too. Like, every year when he was going back and forth, it was like, do I really want to put myself through all that? So it does seem like he's probably done. And it's just crazy to think, Rodgers is on his way out. Roethlisberger is retiring. If Brady retires, we're truly looking at Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. Stafford's still going to be around for a while. Like, it's crazy. Drew Brees retired last year. It's crazy to think about those old guys going away, but it feels like Brady might be done.
I think so too. And final comment from me on this segment anyway. Had a discussion with my son-in-law when I was out in DC. He's an Indiana guy, so he's a big Peyton Manning guy, and we were debating. Well, he was trying to debate me. We were talking about Brady or Manning. I said, "Listen, dude, it's Brady all the way as the GOAT, no question at all. Don't even talk to me about Peyton Manning. Yeah, he was great, but the GOAT is Tom Brady's." And then he said, "Well, is that because you're a Michigan guy?" Absolutely not. 7 Super Bowls, 10 appearances. I mean, it's just unreal what he has done. And I think both you guys agree, Brady's got to be the greatest of all time.
100%. 100%. Can't argue it at all.
Right,
it's literally the one sport where I would say there's no argument to be made for anyone other than one guy. I'll throw this out, Matt. I have a bit of a different take in terms of like what's kind of causing him to retire, I guess. I think I think he loves the preparation and he loves doing all that. He just loves his family more. And if he could perfectly do them both, like I bet you he would. Like if there was unlimited time in the day, he probably would keep playing for another 5 years. But I just think it's to the point where his kids are growing up and it's kind of like make or break it time in terms of being a father. And I think he's just kind of he's at that crossroads right now. In the last 3 or 4 years, he's made the decision to keep playing. And I think that this is the 1 year that the family is going to win.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And I don't know. I was watching the Bucks game. There was a play. He like took a hit. He threw the ball and took a hit, and like a pretty big hit. I think it was Aaron Donald.
Yep.
Got him pretty good. Went to the ground, and I was thinking in my head, that might be the hit that makes him go, I'm good. I don't want to do this anymore. Like this hurts, Like I want to play with my kids and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what he does. So let's throw some predictions out.
Okay.
I think I'm rolling with my guy Stafford. Niners are good. They're playing well. I got to see Stafford get to the Super Bowl. So I think it's going to be Rams. I would love to pick Joe Burrow and the Bengals to pull the upset. The Chiefs are playing so well right now. And it's in Kansas City, obviously. So I know it's chalk. It's kind of boring, but yeah, I think it's going to be Rams Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree. Except I got to go. I mean, I think we're all in agreement where Chiefs are basically pencil or put them in Sharpie already in the Super Bowl. Unless Joe Burrow somehow, that would be maybe the greatest upset of all time.
Yeah.
If Joe Burrow somehow found a way to win that game. But no, and everything in my brain is telling me to pick the Rams. But when you have like a perfect, quote unquote, perfect Super Bowl matchup that a lot of people have predicted before the season, Chiefs versus Rams, usually it gets messed up somewhere along the way. And I don't think it's going to be the Bengals. And the 49ers, I didn't think they had any shot in hell going into Lambeau. But something about that team, man, they're just supremely confident. Everyone wants to throw stones at Jimmy Garoppolo, but the team seems to believe in him. And that's maybe the most important thing more than being able to make every throw is do your teammates believe in you? And they seem to. Deebo Samuel, I mean, he's Tyreek Hill, basically just in a 49ers jersey, does everything for them. It's crazy. And then they have one hell of a pass rush and a defense and arguably the best coach. So I'm leaning toward 49ers. Everything in my brain is telling me to pick the Rams, but they find a way to win it every week. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's 49ers versus Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going in my heart. I'm going with Matthew, the Rams against the Chiefs. And the key factor is the guy that probably should be the MVP in the NFL, and that's Cooper Kupp. I mean, I don't think he gets enough pub on the season that he's had. The Triple Crown receiving, Stafford's throwing him the ball. This guy has had one of the most amazing receiving seasons I've ever seen. I mean, do you guys think, before we wrap this up, you think it's cheating to wear those rubberized gloves? I mean, it's like the ball just sticks to the hands. In the old days, you never had that.
Well, you had stick 'em in the old days.
Well, the stick 'em was a whole different story.
That was weird that players ever wore that.
No,
that was ridiculous.
Some of those gloves, I mean, you pulled the quarterback card, Jared. I'll pull the receiver card. At least when I played, they weren't to the level that they are now by any means.
No.
Some of those gloves, like the ball would literally stick to your hand. So you've got hands like OBJ, and then you put those gloves on there. No wonder he can just like catch the ball like that sometimes. But Cooper Kupp, I mean, he just, again, it's like when I watch him, it makes me think like, man, if I had a little more speed, and I could have done this. Because he was like, I saw a picture coming out of high school. He was a 0-star recruit, not being recruited by anyone. And now he's the best receiver in the NFL.
Well, did you guys read his backstory about his wife basically put him through school and supported him all the way? And now, he's making the big bucks. And I know, Matt, he's got to be one of your favorite players in the NFL without a doubt, right?
Yeah. Gritty gym rat receivers like that. I'll buy his jersey.
Yeah. I just got to throw this out there. We're all thinking about it. If Stafford does blow this game, I mean, would you be shocked? I mean, Stafford gonna Stafford, as people would say.
I'll be honest. That last Sunday, when Bucks were making a comeback, I was texting a buddy and I was like, "This is about when Stafford's gonna throw a pick six. If he's gonna do it, he's gonna throw a pick six." And all those people Ted's talking about, those haters, are all gonna say, "See,
yeah,
he didn't do it though."
See, I don't think so. I don't think he will. I think he's going to come up big against the 49ers.
The thing that's sad is, unless he wins the Super Bowl, is all the Stafford haters like you guys think you had like your celebration, Matt, like with this win this last week. Believe me, they are just waiting for him to do something stupid in the next couple games. And if he does, everything that you think he earned these last couple weeks will be for nothing.
Yep.
But at least he has 2 playoff wins right now. It's in the pot.
Lions.
That's right. All right, guys, good segment there. We're going to talk a little bit of college basketball next, right here on 3 Point Podcast, right after this.